Many students feel there is no morale issue at LCCC and have positive feelings about their experience and its future. Students love LCCC and recognize the positive growth in our college. Students are particularly fond of the community atmosphere and outstanding faculty who truly care about their success. However, many students also feel there's a growing morale problem at LCCC. With the media's frequent negative portrayal of our administration, it causes us to wonder if there is integrity and honesty directing our future. Each headlining scandal is affecting our morale, and students are beginning to wonder who to believe and what is going on behind closed doors. They also feel as though the positive aspects of LCCC are being overlooked and that the media is focused on creating a negative image of LCCC. There seems to be a lack of transparency in the decisions made for our future, and students want to be assured that the decisions being made are in our benefit. Some students feel as though they don't hold any weight in the decisions being made and that their opinions are ignored in spending and employment decisions. In sum, students feel LCCC is a wonderful college and simply hope our leaders will emphasize positive change in all that they do and learn to work together with all voices heard and respected. Thank you. Thank you.
Okay. Well, my name is Mark Shadow. I'm here representing the students through ASG as Vice President. I have a lot to cover, so I'm going to go pretty fast. If you want me to repeat anything or slow down, just throw things at me. Okay. Morale. The degree of mental or moral confidence of a person or group. This is the definition from the Collins English Dictionary. Now, obviously today we are specifically talking about the mental and moral confidence of students individually as well as a whole. So the challenge for ASG became, how do we best discover the state of morale around campus? Well, we boiled it down to 3 questions and made it available online, emailed it to teachers to inform their students, and passed them out personally. Here are the 3 questions that were made available to our students. 1, how do you feel about your experience at LCCC? 2, do you feel you have a voice in the future and or purpose of LCCC? And 3, how do you feel about the future of LCCC? We believe these 3 questions cover the major areas where morale is concerned: present experience, the student voice, and the opinions of LCCC's future. Now I'd like to take this time to examine the views of the minority and majority of students who have completed this questionnaire, for I'm here to represent not only the student body as a whole, but students as individuals. Where one is concerned, another one is found. We must push for equal representation or there will only be misrepresentation. So let's take a look at our first question. How do you feel about your experience at LCCC? After reading through all of the responses, I broke these answers down into 3 categories. The first being satisfactory and or enjoyable, 2 being moderate and recallable, and finally disappointed and or dissatisfied. And I'd like to report that only 3% felt that it was tolerable and moderate, and 10% were dissatisfied, and majority, 87%, find their LCCC experience to be satisfactory and enjoyable. The biggest and most shared opinion was that teachers are great. The key words for the teachers shared across the board were knowledgeable, passionate, and dedicated, and one student stated that she felt lucky to have such good teachers. And many other students also felt that there were more activities this semester, more ways to be involved, and more information available to them. And one student loved all the new international friends that he or she had made that semester. So many students agree that this is a great school to go to before heading to a university. But again, this is looking at the majority of our students. And another student, and this one is quoted as saying, I love LCCC. It has small classes so I can get the one-on-one help that I need. And I'm in the equine training program too, and I love the facilities and the hands-on learning experiences. The people are great here. This kind of sums up most of what people feel about this first question. So I feel, though, that there are times when the minority is overlooked, and I want to protect the voice of these people. So the 10% of dissatisfied students, it came down to 2 main areas of concern. 1, financial aid, and 2, our cafeteria. As for the financial aid department, it seemed many students feel that there is a barrier of communication. One student stated, if they need to talk to me, they all have my contact numbers, and I should not have to call them weekly to figure problems out. I've heard this on many different ways from other students as well. And the other half of distress stems from the cafeteria. Now, this is generally concerned students feel that this is because of the rising food prices and the rising tuition that they can't afford to eat here, and that the only other alternative is the cafe, which is still expensive. One student stated that they can't even eat this semester. Another cafeteria concern is the flex dollars that students have every semester for the food here. This money doesn't roll over into another account, and it has to be spent by a certain date or it is lost. These students would like to see a way that this money can benefit them by the end of the semester. So, An integral part of the college experience is knowing you have a voice and say in what is happening around you. This is one of the most important issues to ASG and me, even as a student. So let's take a look at our second question. Do you feel you have a voice in the future and or purpose of LCCC? This is a pretty cut and dry issue. I didn't read any ambiguous answers, and it was either yes or no with extended opinions. Now, 66% of students believe they have a voice in the future and or purpose at LCCC, and 36% do not. Of the 66% of students, most believe that there are many ways to be involved so that they can have a voice whether they do or not at the moment. One student is quoted as saying, I feel that if you participate in canvas groups and organizations such as ASG or SAAC, students really do have a voice in LCCC's future. If you participate in these organizations, I feel the students are heard. So let's take a look at another student who represents the majority response. Yes, I think the faculty has an open mind to students and they do a good job asking for students' opinions. As we can see, most students feel that if the urge strikes them, then there are ways to have a voice if they do not already. This is great. It's something we want to expand as as ASG. But we cannot overlook the 34% who do not feel they have a voice. This group of students especially. These are the people who we must reach or find ways to reach ASAP. These are the people who need to be heard and need to know what to do about it. Here are some responses from the frustrated students. No, I do not. I feel like the students are bystanders and the teachers and administrators are in control. I don't think students' voices go past the classes which are offered. No, I feel that my perspective as a student is not valued because I'm only here for a short time. Issues are not presented to the students for input in an easily acceptable manner. Not particularly. If I have a voice, I don't know how to be heard. No, I don't. I feel the president does what he feels without concern of anyone else. And perhaps most importantly, the idea of not being sought for opinions. So my fifth one, not really. Rarely do I get asked about things that get done or how things should change. So this may seem harsh, but it's the harsh truth. What are the issues here? A lot of students don't feel like their voice is valued, and that last quote sums it up. If we aren't seeking student opinion, then of course they won't feel valued. This has definitely been changing, though, for the better this semester with more contact and communication between students, faculty, board members, and the president than has ever seen, possibly ever before. But the fact remains that there is a huge margin of effort missing. However, I am proud to say that I've been fighting for the student voice for 2 years, and this semester is a promising start to a future where we could possibly see a very, very small percentage, or if any, of students who feel this displeasure. With more effort and resourcefulness to shorten the gaps from all sides, students, faculty, board, president, we could keep this positive momentum rolling to levels of campus harmony our school has never seen in a while. Finally, I want to address our third question. How do you feel about the future of LCCC? And as I read the response, that sort of the answers in 3 categories. 1, good, we will grow. 2, uncertain. 3, bad, changes are needed. Now, 59% of students who responded believe the future is looking good. 16% were uncertain, and 25% felt that the future didn't look good and needed changes. Again, a major agreement with students is that things are looking great because teachers are so impactful. Here are some quotes from the students who agree LCCC is a good place to play their future. I feel like it's going to be successful, especially with the enrollment rate increasing so much. 2, I see students and staff and faculty teaming up and building LCCC to be one of the best schools in the country and the best in the state. 3, I believe that education is definitely the key to your future, and LCCC will continue to serve the needs of this community for years to come. And final thought from them, I think LCCC is going to have a bright future. Most people I know have a positive experience at LCCC, and that will only spread over time. So, again, not all of these are the most positive things that you all may want to hear, but it is how students feel. And more importantly, it is up to you as faculty, as board members, as president, and me as a senator and as a student to step up and be a leader. We can't let all of the great improvements and connections that have been made in the past semester and this semester die. Most importantly, we must keep cultivating the progress of transparency, communication, and morale. That is why we're here today. And what we've seen this year is just a start, albeit a wonderful and empowering start, but we cannot quit now, or ever. So I'd like to thank everyone for giving myself, Alex, Tracy, and Tracy a chance to represent you, the voice of the largest group of people who are impacted the most at this school. Thank you for listening to your students.
Thank you, Madam Chair and the Board of Trustees, for allowing ASG's Vice President Mark Schadt, Phi Theta Kappa's Tracy McEwen, and I, President of ASG, to speak on behalf of the morale discussion tonight. I would like to first start by reading it to everyone the LCCC ASG mission statement. The mission of LCCC's ASG is to connect, represent, guide, and advocate for the students of LCCC by informing, empowering, bestowing knowledge, and improving student recognition on campus. ASG senators will provide positive leadership by example and mentor future students to build foundations and leave a lasting legacy for future student leaders. As we stand in front of this room today, we are speaking on behalf of the students of LCCC, not ourselves personally. It is an important value in the mission of the ASG Student Senate to ensure that we represent the larger student body. In order to assure that students have a voice in today's discussion, ASG's Executive Council developed a 3-question questionnaire and distributed this to all student clubs and organizations, Albany County campus, and to students in classrooms as well. After reading through all the feedback we received, we have determined that the morale of the students on campus is positive. Students are enjoying LCCC. Students who are involved on campus feel that they have a voice on campus, and students who are not involved on campus feel that they do not have a voice, but some report that it is not important to them. Lastly, students are concerned about their faculty and staff and want them to continue to work at LCCC. ASG is committed to being a positive force in impacting morale at LCCC. We are doing this in 2 ways, through recognition and involvement. The Associated Student Government is pleased that the morale on campus among students is positive. Therefore, we have challenged ourselves to be positive leaders in impacting the morale among the LCCC campus. Last week, ASG's challenge was what was one thing that each ASG senator could do to improve the impact the morale on campus positively. This goal was accomplished by the student government, writing 83 thank you notes to administration, faculty, staff, and students by recognizing them for all their hard work and the impact they've made on our campus. As leaders and advocates for the students, student government has attended almost every event on campus in the past 2.5 months. During this time, we have experienced students working collaboratively together, instructors being recognized for the difference they are making every day, staff and advisors assisting students in going above and beyond to make sure our needs are met, and the maintenance crew who works hard to ensure that our campus is functioning to its fullest abilities. Our challenge to the board. The ASG Senate would like to propose a challenge for the board. To begin, we would not ask of you anything that we would not and already are not doing ourselves. Madam Chair and the LCCC Board of Trustees, we ask that you please take a look from the ground and see the positive impact that we are making and the great things that we are doing around campus. We implore you to please recognize the wonderful job our faculty and staff is doing and do everything within your power to recognize that and keep them employed and happy at LCCC. On behalf of the student body and the Associated Student Government,